music compilation.
Hello, folks. How are you all doing today? My name is Salco. I am going to be here casting for you all Wichita Wolves fans today, and I'll be joined by Chief here a little bit later, who is in the casting booth with me at the moment. But what a day it is going to be today for sure. We have the Upsurge Premier League semifinals today. It's a best of 3 series, Wichita Wolves versus Premier. And we have a fantastic lineup for you guys. You might notice that we are the team from SCS that has been casting a little bit of Wichita Wolves all the way back from our personal Season 2. And today we have the honor of casting for their semifinal matches. So if you take a look on your screen right now, we are going to see the starting lineup that we have for tonight's match. We've got Faded, who is their team captain. He's going to be rocking the Habana and the Mute today. We got Devil, who is a phenomenal Maverick player, also Y on defense. He's going to be their IGL. Mayo, just an insane player all around. He plays some Zofia, but he also plays some Sledge, and then on defense, he's a Maestro man. We also have Tyrant, who is a newer player to the team. He's going to be taking Zofia and Clash. And then finally Mental on the Ashe and the Jaeger. We've seen these guys a lot. I know on the Wichita Wolves channel, you guys are the biggest fans for your team here. So let's see that support in the chat for all of them. It's going to be fantastic to see everyone at their best tonight and getting ready for the playoffs here. We have a player to watch for you guys in tonight's game, and that is going to be Mayo. He has been selected by the staff of Wichita Wolves as honestly one of the top players right now, and I believe these are some of his statistics. I can't remember what game these statistics are from. They might actually be from SCS Week 1, but he is a very strong fragger. He's got a 1.7 kill-death ratio right now, and his cost rating, which is that KOST down at the bottom, if you've never seen cost before, that's basically valued around. So he has a 0.78, and a perfect cost is 1.0. So he's looking very, very strong coming into tonight's matches. It's going to be a fantastic one for you all here. Just a moment here. We are finishing up getting a couple more players into the lobby, particularly from Premier. We take a look at the map bans as well for tonight. Quickly, unfortunately, I do not have the map ban links since I'm not the tournament organizer. I don't have the stream link for you. I will just have to sort of talk you through those bans today. Wichita Wolves went ahead and took a theme park ban for their first, and Premier decided to go ahead and ban Coastline. And the way that best of 3s work, it's a ban, and then you get to do your picks for your maps. So Wichita Wolves went with the Clubhouse pick for their first map of tonight, followed up by Premier, who picked Consulate. The last 2 bans were Cafe and Villa, leaving Oregon to be the decider then. And Chief, it looks like my friend Chief has hopped in to the casting booth. How are you doing tonight, my friend?
I am doing wonderful. Just a little delayed. I had to eat some glorious lunch with my 104-year-old grandma. So that was where I have been. So
Fun.
please apologies for being just a little tardy, but here we go. And no better place than to start is with the legendary team of Wichita Wolves. Now, before we talk about strats, before we actually talk about these teams, I just want to say Devil's cat is absolutely adorable, and we'll leave it at that. And if
Devil
you
has a
don't know what I'm
cat?
referencing, he does have a cat. And if you actually go to the Wichita Wolves, if you go to their Twitter page and you go to their header, you'll see a picture of Devil and his adorable little demon.
All right, well, I might have to do that after this match here, after we're all said and done with things, because I'm a very big animal person. So, got to do that. I'm more of a dog guy, though, not going to lie. But in any case, we did have a couple statistics to highlight for you all, too, from Wichita Wolves' UPL season. So, Chief, I know that you've got that data up. Do you want to go ahead and highlight what they've been doing in UPL this season?
Actually, I currently don't have it up. Do you mind
Oh,
taking that for me,
no, yeah,
please?
not
You
a
threw me
problem.
under the
I
bus,
am
and I got
so
ran off.
sorry. I am so sorry. Okay, but in any case, we'll take a look at that real quick. So, UPL for Wichita Wolves, they went through the regular season undefeated. That is no joke there. They went undefeated throughout the entirety of UPL. That's fantastic. In addition, they won the qualifiers undefeated and ended up making it into this league just for free based on that alone, just because they had done so well in their qualifying matches. This season, they have a 42-9 round count over, I believe that to be, can't do math on the fly like this, 42, over 6 matches. I do believe there 6 maps. They went 42-9 on their round differential. So they only dropped 9 rounds the entirety of their season. That is insane. And the team that we're playing against tonight, Wichita Wolves versus Premier, Wichita Wolves beat Premier 7-0 on the final league match of the regular season, which just passed on July 26th. So, that being said, Chief, you have a little bit of history with this team, as do I. What are you looking to see here tonight?
Right now, I'm expecting the top fraggers to show up big for Wichita Wolves, and we've been seeing that throughout their games, whether it's here in Upsurge or whether it's in SCS. It's really coming down to how well they're coordinating amongst themselves, droning in their primary fraggers as well as their secondary. And it's going to be on Premier to come up with a strategy to try to mitigate that as much as possible. So if that means running Mute Mozzie, or here on Clubhouse, that maybe means you're running an SSG style roam. And remember, SSG style roam isn't necessarily to grab drones, it's to waste as much time as possible, right? You have to clear the entire top floor. Even if nobody's there, it's still your due diligence to try to take that and waste that time.
Very good points, Chief. That SSG strategy is one that I'm very familiar with from my previous teams, and if you do it properly, it is just so strong. Like you are almost impossible to counter without a really well planned rush. So we'll look to see that be brought out here tonight. On top of that, for the other 2 maps that we're playing on, it's going to be Consulate for map number 2, and then if we have to go to a decider, it's going to be Oregon. All of which I believe are some of the most aggressive maps in the competitive map pool. So very exciting to see there. And it looks like teams are fully in the lobby. Wichita looks like they are ready to go. We're going to see if Premier is ready as well.
So why we find that out. And again, this is the semifinals taking place. So 2 very competent teams going to war over these potential 3 games. And exactly what I'm going to expect. All 3 games being utilized and probably the majority of these rounds. So get your waters, get your beers, get your sodas, strap on in, because this is going to be a nail biter for the next 3 or 4 hours.
Oh, very much so. I'm very excited to be a part of it. I'm happy to have the honor to join Wichita Wolves. I'm happy they invited me along. And Chief, it was fun to see you pop into that chat earlier today because, as we know, we're sort of the dynamic duo right now with SCS. We've casted a lot of matches together, so it's fun to be able to do this as well. So.
I think basically what you're saying is you're stuck with me indefinitely. So my condolences for having to deal with me all the time, Nash.
Oh my God! You know what? It's fine. I'll forgive you this once, Soka.
Just this one time. I see how it is. Well, it's gonna be a long best of 3, but make sure you're always supporting your team of favorites. And I'm guessing since you're watching this stream, it's most likely going to be the Wichita Wolves.
Alrighty, looks like both teams are ready to go, so we are going to be getting into it now on Clubhouse. This is your Wichita Wolves fighting for the title, for the semifinal title versus Premier. If they win this tonight, they advance to UPL finals coming up here later in the month. Let's get into the operator bands, shall we?
And we're probably going to see that dynamic duo be removed instantaneously. The bane of Rainbow Six Siege, Thatcher as well as Maverick. They seem to go perfectly, especially here on Clubhouse, but we've seen a lot of teams actually start to change up the meta of their attacking bands and start to bring out more traditional bands. Let's say the Capital has been coming out a lot, as well as different hard breaches, and we've been kind of seeing return to pace of what I remember from like 2 years ago, where we're running just Thermite and Thatcher throughout, and there he is. It's actually going to be Capital removed, and you remove Capital just to allow those bandit tricks to be so much easier. No deliberation whatsoever needed by Wichita Wolves. It's going to be Valkyrie. We saw her have a big ban phase back when Echo had his quarantine. She provides so much information. It's a very sensible pick. The last band's always up in the air, and it's going to be Kaid. Simply put, this is probably one of his best maps because there's a lot of places you can put those Kaid shards, and they're absolutely indestructible. There's no way you could work around them.
Right, those Kite Claws are very, very difficult to counter without that Thatcher, like you mentioned there. And I love the Capitao ban. It's not really something that you see every day, especially on a map like Clubhouse, just because typically people go for the double hard breach ban. But Wichita Wolves being so strong with their Maverick and the ability to be able to get into the building very quickly, honestly, really good decision there to see. We do see the Echo come out. Could be 6-picked here coming up, but no, it's actually going to be kept here. It's going to be potentially a basement turtle strategy as we see the Pulse get 6-picked off of the Wamai. Nice little strategy there to try and bait out possibly a second floor defense, and we see the Montaigne coming out instead of the Buck for Wichita, so this is going to be a very exciting first round.
Need to locate and defuse bombs.
Now, Faded bringing out the Montagne is kind of leading me to believe that the attacking lineup is assuming they're going to CCTV first. And Monty is such a powerful operator on CCTV. He allows you to push in through Raptors for free, and there's very little that the attacking lineup can do to stop that push. Now, he is viable here, pushing on the basement side, but it's harder to integrate him into your attacking lineup because there's so many different avenues for the defense to push you and pressure that Monty in compared to that garage where there's really only one place to push him from, and that's from left. Oil Pit. And if you put that flank drone there, well, then obviously that flank won't happen, or at least you'll have some type of information on that flank, and you should be able to counter that more or less instantaneously.
Yeah, that information counter is definitely very, very important to have there as well. But here we go, round number 1 coming out, and apologies for the little bit of slow casting, slow observing issues here. I haven't had to observe for myself in a very, very long time, but we're getting there. But in any case, drones coming out is going to be a very, very quick roam clear attempt here from Wichita as they try to get up onto the second floor. And actually, no, Ash is just going to bypass that completely and head straight into stock right now. We have the Jaeger holding his very common angle inside of blue. Nothing quite pushing out from him yet. Pulse spots the Ash, I do believe, on his scanner. And yes, indeed, he does, but no option to kill her there because that floor is indestructible right now. Let's check out where the Monty's going. He's still hanging out in spawn, potentially just joining for his team right now. Chief, what are you liking so far about this lineup? It was a very quick roam clear, and they still have 2 minutes to work with, and they're basically going to be getting these hatches open. I really like what I'm seeing so far for the Wolves.
I'm going to echo what you just said. I love how they grab map control so quickly. This is going to allow them to actually execute this attack, and momentarily we actually might see some vertical destruction on those connector hallways of basement to start to siphon those defenders into positions they do not want to be. And of course, this will all be facilitated by the Monty as well as the drone economy. They've only lost 10% of that, so that's going to be so much information provided. But right now, they're going to have to push through those Legion goo mines, which is currently shutting down Monty's. He's trying to push out of Moto. but he has confirmed that there's 3 players on the side of Church, and this might lead the attackers to actually switching up their lineup altogether and pushing in through the actual army itself.
Yeah, this is really a lot of setup time here for Wichita. As Premier, you don't really want to be giving them that much time to really get into position, because as a defender, if they're able to get basement control, first floor control pretty quickly like that, that's not what you want to see. And as we see, a nice little double kill set there coming out from 2 of the Wichita players, and actually Nomad getting 2 himself. And oh no, a couple missed shots from the smoke there, and wow, they have the plant down. So looking pretty solid for Wichita right now. It's going to be in a 1v3 situation now, a 1v2 with a double kill coming out with the UMP. It's a Monty and an Ash versus the Pulse here, which is a good position to be in because technically that's only 1 gun up for the attackers, but it is going to be Wichita Wolves round 1 victory as Ash ends it for round number 1. Very, very solid attack. They still, I believe, had 30 seconds left with that plant going down. There was no contest on the plant whatsoever. They were really able to secure a dominant round 1 win, I'd say.
A brilliant execute coming out by the team of WW, understanding exactly where the positioning of the defense was and executing the way they needed to. And that's the best part, is when you have so much time to execute, well, you can do exactly that. Siphon the defense into places they do not want to be. And what we talked about in the pregame of why SSG style roam became so effective, well, it stops the attackers from grabbing control like that, and it wastes so much time. In theory, a strong SSG style roam should be wasting up to a minimum of 90 seconds. And well, we saw that the attackers had the entire map cleared in about 40 seconds, and that's just a liability at that point. But the defense, they're going to be electing to return back to basement. And I've said this a few times before, but you really shouldn't be returning the sites back to back unless you're aware of the problems. And right now, just judging by the lineup that Premier is bringing out right now, I don't think they're adjusting the problems that we currently saw. Also, they switched away from that Legion, and that's the best counter to Montagne. Now, again, since we have the observing perspective, we know he's not in play, but it seems like Wichita is currently gaming them, and they're playing into their own playstyle, which is something you can't be doing when you're a defender. A defender needs to be setting the pace, and an attacking team that sets their own pace is an attacking team that tends to win.
Yeah, very, very good points there, because as a defender, that tempo is just so important, because that's really what you're controlling in any case, because the attackers really get a free reign of where you can push from, what you can do, what you can accomplish, things like that, whereas on the defense, you're sort of relegated to sticking near the site with only a few exceptions, namely being the roamers. So, in any case, that's, I believe, what we're seeing right now with Wichita. They're just really dominating the tempo, but it's only been 1 round, so we could see a little bit of a change coming up here right now, but just too early to tell, I think. But Wichita looking really strong after round number 1. Lots more drone work coming out as well from Wichita, which is something that we are very impressed with consistently when we stream for this team here. The intel is just so important in this game. If you're not a consistent player of R6 and you want to get into it, you should definitely start by trying to perfect your intel game, by getting your droning down, counter drones, things like that. That's really important to your overall success in the game. Right now, Ash holding a bunch of angles vertically, trying to control some rotations. Not a whole lot happening in that regard. There is still a Pulse on the defensive side, and the interesting pick as well of Bandit on this site. You typically don't see a Bandit played at all unless you're on a second floor site of a clubhouse, because there's really nothing that can be denied by the Bandit with the exception of that triple wall of Church. But I digress. Chief, what are you thinking so far of the round?
Well, right now, the attackers find themselves in a strong position, but with 10 members alive and breathing, it's still anybody's game, and they're going to have to start pushing the defense away for their power positions. The next place they're going to have to do is New Blue. Jello finding the first kill in this round. That's going to be your Ash player off the board and surrendered. Unfortunate the fact that she still had all of her utility. The Nitro Cell is going to go off, and that's going to confirm the down on Faded, though. But he's in a position where he might be rezzed, but that Pulse is hunting like a shark, and momentarily he should find him on the cardiac sensor, but the fact that he hasn't is currently a blunder. I'm not sure how Pulse hasn't identified that he has confirmed it down. It's a little late, and there goes the headshot onto Faded. but better late than never. With 45 seconds left in this round and 2 attackers already surrendered, it's not looking well. And as more bodies for the attacking line continue to fall, it's going to be Tyrant with the team on his back finding 2 headshots in the round. That's exactly what they needed. But he's now in this 1v3, and it's all over for them. A valiant effort, but it didn't go down the way they wanted.
Yeah, it just sort of fell down to a couple early kills that Premier got there, which really sort of secured the round for them. You don't want to go a man down on basement. It's just such a, I want to say defensive heavy site, just because the inherent like weaknesses of having to push from either 2 stairwells or a very exposed hatch. So if you go a man down, it becomes immensely harder to set up your attacks. That being said, now going to second floor, it becomes a little bit more attacker side of it. Is really the only defense that the defenders have is the main wall of either of those sites, and as soon as those get opened, there you really lose a lot of rotation potential, and you have to sort of play on the back foot. So here we go, round number 3 coming out. Echo is going to remain on the board this time as well for that late round plant denial. Always a good take if he's available and not banned in your league.
And now we're going back to CCTV, and you might be curious why Mute is opening these holes like this. This is to prevent Maverick from doing what he does, and that is Maverick tricking. And those holes will basically allow nitrocells to propagate to the other side, sending their shrapnel into anybody on the receiving end. So when you are Maverick tricking, you're going to have to be a little conscious of this. And this is probably where Thermite's actually the more sensible operator in this case. I'm hoping that Devil's going to elect to upside down Maverick trick just one vertical line, trying to get rid of those bandit batteries as well as those mute jammers, and then allow Mail to put his X-Pyro pellets on a higher line, trying to prevent the impact tricks as well as getting a nitro cell to the face. So Devil's going to have to be very careful here if he wants to be successful. And maybe this is not the strategy. You should always be starting with the bottom first because it's just a safer option, unless you're going to be utilizing a frag grenade.
Yeah, I think Devil's just gotten down to the method of like perfecting his Maverick trick, but I do believe you that it is a little bit safer to start with the bottom first, as now Bandit knows that he's going to be there, he's going to attempt to take some pop shots, and almost actually lands them, but he does get the wall. Zophia's going to be able to secure the remainder of the wall there. Right now, Jaeger playing below, spots the Monty pushing up through bottom garage, but he's going to have to fall back because he's about to get triple push there from an Ash and a couple other players. So good work from Wichita to be able to clear out the bottom floor. Nobody is there to sort of contest from the defense anymore. Monty has already made his way up to the garage rafters, which is a very strong position to be in. It puts the defenders in a very uncomfortable situation. It looks like Jaeger is actually rotated back downstairs and is going to be in the bar. So a late round flank possibility. You will find out very soon.
There is the possibility of that, but Monty's taking quick control. The diffuser outside, not dedicated to Monty, may have been a mistake. Smoke grenades are going to go out, trying to push away the defense. Nitrocell is ripped, and that's going to be the Monty taking off the board. The first casualty in round number 9. Pardon me, round number 3. I guess you can divide it by 3 and get to 3. Anyways, Mayo's going to find another kill in this round. That's going to be Serix off the board. But losing your Monty early on is definitely not the play that you want to have, and you're going to have to start to rotate players over to garage if you want to bring this round back. With 2 bodies surrendered, though, it's still anybody's game. What that close quarters SMG-11 was almost the undoing of Devil, as he's going to make his own rotation hole on the top of rafters.
I think we're potentially looking at a plant situation here. You killed the player that was below. Even though the Bandit's still on top red, it's not really, safe for the defenders to make any sort of rotation. Oh, and the Echo actually, though, is going to come into play there. I always forgot that he's on the board just because he's never played anymore because of the recent bans, but I'm going to have to be a little more cognizant of that from the future. So the plant does get denied. Devil's now on about 10 HP, which is looking very, very unfortunate for him, but it's going to be a triple kill coming out from Mayo. He's on a roll right now as he takes out the Bandit, and there's going to be one more smoke canister after that one for the defenders. It's going to come down to a very, very close situation. Echo is getting pushed out of his little hidey hole there by an attacking charge. We have Zofia getting the plant down at the moment. Echo uses one of his charges, but Smoke is just not ready. He doesn't have any more canisters left to potentially deny this plant, and Ash is going to rush inside. Now it's going to be a 3v1 situation for Premier. Plant is down. He doesn't see him on the stairs, and that's going to be it. Wichita Wolves wins round number 3.
A brilliant initial execute all on the back of Mayo. This man is unstoppable right now, and what an angle to boot. And that's exactly what we expect out of the Wichita Wolves. Now, where do you like to go if you're Premier? Do you attempt CCTV again? And they tend to like going back to their sites, adjusting their plays. And I'm not sure if that's necessarily a strategy. I'm still a big proponent of changing up your sights to try to bait the attackers into thinking you're going elsewhere. But we've also seen a lot of teams a little hesitant on going to gym. They just don't seem to be as comfortable with that site. And that kind of comes down to the fallacy that is the tertiary bomb sites. You just never seem to get enough experience on those sites. And that comes down to a team honestly not trimming and dry running it enough.
Yeah, sometimes you just need a little bit of practice on certain sites a little bit more than others, just because, especially if you're trying different strategies from the meta, you know, you can watch Pro League all day and get strats from that, but you need to sort of make your own adaptations and things like that to fit the sort of teams that you're playing, and if you don't adapt and if you don't practice those strats, they might not work out for you, but who knows if that's the case right now. We can't really tell. I've never really worked with Premier in the past, so I don't know how their whole process works, but in any case, we know Wichita scrims relatively often, I would say. They're a very, very dedicated team. They're a very solid roster, and they are putting that to work right now. It is 2-1. So, similar lineup to the last round coming out for the Wolves. We see Tyrant again on that Zofia, and an early kill from Faded. What just happened there? He got a wallbang, I think, into the garage. Beautiful kill, and there goes the Jaeger early on. Oh, yes, it was a wallbang. He was trying to reinforce. Unfortunate for Premier, but very, very fortunate for the Wolves. We see the Maverick play of Devil, who's already starting to open up that wall yet again. And as you can tell, it makes it a little bit more difficult to do so when you have those holes made by the mute. So strong strategy by Premier to have that done. Let's take a look at where the defense is holding right now, mainly just making some holes. And actually a bit of an extension out here from the Bandit players. That's pretty strong positioning, maybe trying to adapt to last round when the Ash was able to get into construction fairly easily. Notable exception, Faded is on the sledge this time, no Monty. Sorry, Chief, go ahead.
The exact intro kill you needed, and also those reinforcements being sacrificed for free is definitely not the play if you're a fan of Premier. This is going to allow the attackers to get into Garage uncontested, which was the whole idea behind Premier. But the problem they're still facing is there's a lot of utility mounting. Also, in that show phase of operators, there was a class being teased. Now, again, we have got perspective, so we know that's not the case, but that also might lead Wichita Wolves to being a little hesitant on this intro and execute because they don't know exactly what they may be facing, but they have taken control of all of Raptors, and this is a big stepping stone when it comes down to your initial execute. The siphon, the pinch plays are being created. The bomb is starting to rotate over to the south side of Garage. Momentarily, we will start to see them execute and plant the bomb.
Yeah, Wichita has taken the time advantage that they have. They really set up beautifully there where they were able to get things done quickly and give a whole lot of time for the late round, and that's exactly what we're seeing right now. Defense is in a position to be able to hold them off, though. They're holding strong angles, and they have sort of that side map control. Actually, that might be changing as Mental with a kill. I don't know where that kill came out of, but Bandit is gone. There goes another Nitro cell off the board. Oh, he tried rotating. That's exactly what happened there. So sometimes you can just get caught out. We see Tyrant with a bomb diffuser planted, and it's now going to be a 1v5. Very strong. Jello gets a kill onto the Ash from below. He's going to toss out the Nitro cell. Don't believe that's going to find anybody. Two players working their way downstairs on red stairs. Jello very low HP, and he's getting double swung and killed, and it's going to be a round 4 win for Wichita Wolves.
That's another round going in favor of Wichita Wolves. They're going to start to stack them just like you stack $100 bills. They're getting richer by the moment. And remember, this is still a very defender-sided map. And most teams, I would say, tend to lead 4-2 on the defense. And to find yourselves with 3 rounds already on the attacking side, and you haven't even finished, the attacking half, that is definitely a big deal. So again, hopefully it can keep stacking up those $100 bills. But here we go, returning back down to the basement. The last time we were here in round number 2, well, we saw a pretty decisive win coming out by Premier, all off the back of Pulse. He was really able to shut down most of their kitchen
Defenders,
execute.
protect your bombs
So
from
if you
being
can
defused
bring
by
a
attackers.
way to shut down Pulse here in round number 5, I think you can see Premier's defense start to crumble. And also, I think it's slightly amiss to not bring that IQ, because Pulse has been a big staple for the lineup of Premier, even though he's currently not a factor in round number 5.
Right, I think that's definitely an important distinction to make, is if you brought that IQ maybe in favor of somebody like the Zofia, potentially even the Ashe, that just brings you a little bit more chance to clear out any potential nitro cell danger. Not to say that
10 seconds
it's really been a huge, boon for the defenders,
5
because it's
seconds
only really
remaining.
netted 1 kill for them, but in any case, it's still a risk. Those nitro cells can come in at a little bit of a random time and you wouldn't ever know. So I think it's just a little bit safer to bring the IQ, but in any case, I digress. We get back into it. Round number 5 coming out. We have the attackers start making their way towards the building, and we see again a very, very turtle-heavy strat on the defensive side. Maybe you need to just change something a little bit up here if you're attempting to continue winning rounds, but in any case, it looks like Bandit might be doing just that as he's sneaking his way upstairs, but Ashe is ready for him. Lands a couple shots, but no head quite yet. Loses a lot of HP, though. That Bandit's going to be on 20 HP for the remainder of the round. Nitro Cell already coming out. I believe that was the Bandit. And no damage to the attackers done from that one. So that's a little bit of a waste right there for them. Unfortunate for Premier. But it's still early in the round. They still have chances to get those kills back. As for our attacking friends, we see Hibana opening up the hatches. It's going to be pretty uncontested as there is no kite. It's important to note as well that besides the Maverick, Hibana is the only mainline hard breacher that they have. Whereas Thermite might be a good idea to bring on this side as well, just because he allows you to open up the walls, and really if they're impact tricking, then it would keep them from, being able to effectively ruin your Hibana at that point, because one impact grenade at this point would do them in trying to open up the hatches. The second Nitro Cell comes out from the Pulse, doesn't do anybody in.
I'm not sure if I necessarily agree with that, because in theory, if you Maverick trick properly, you should be able to open up 2 hatches. Now, a lot of players don't do that because they haven't done their due diligence. Oh no, it's the blunder of a century. The fragmentation grenade is going to put Devil down, but not out. And that's the mistake you cannot allow to happen. Now, he was on low HP, and he's actually going to be about on the same HP that he was before that frag grenade was sent. So I guess it's really not that big of a deal.
I think he might have actually netted a 5 HP gain off that. If we're looking at the bar, I think he might have gained something off of that one.
Well, maybe it's a 3,000 IQ of the century, right? Maybe that was his whole idea. He was trying to damage himself. Tyrant's going to attack on the board. That's going to be another kill. And Beta's going to follow that up. But it's going to be a down but not out, as Jaeger's going to get aggressive, pushing up secret stairs. But that's going to relinquish all of New Blue and allow the attackers to start to funnel in. And you cannot be letting power positions go. Smoke's going to attempt to get aggressive, try to stop the plant, but he's not in a position to do. He has utility, make this happen, but it's going to be no hope here. The bomb is going to be set, and it's going to be the defenders now coming. The attackers, there's a big drop from behind. Middle's going to find one, and the second. It's a brilliant execute and a brilliant read coming out by Mental. It's the 1, it's the 2, the jab, and the cross.
Nice little micro flick there almost onto that smoke when he popped up there. You don't have really much intel as when you hot drop like that, and he was able to really capitalize on it. So good job to him. Hats off. I got my mouse cursor out of the way. I keep forgetting to do that. I'm so used to being a caster and not an observer anymore. And now I'm all doing it, so I apologize for the little mistakes like that. But in any case, we're still rolling. We're still rocking. It's 4-1 in favor of Wichita Wolves. And uh-oh, I smell an SSG potentially with this Vigil Legion lineup.
Now, we'll have to call it an SSG derivative because it's not exactly the full thing. I don't need Lycan to be hopping in our DMs yelling at us for trying to take something that he's copywritten. But remember, for the full SSG, you actually have to have that Castle, because Castle is actually
Defenders,
probably the most
protect your bombs
important
from being
operator in the
defused by
entire lineup,
attackers.
because he allows you to be rotating safely. And a lot of teams, when they do their derivatives of the SSG style roam, they only think about the drone economy aspect. But really, Castle, I believe, is the most important operator. And you can put, in theory, any operator you want in that extended top floor hold, but Castle always should be in that lineup. You put one near the billiards table, you put one in what I call 45, and you put one upstairs in the connector window of construction, all allowing your players to rotate around for free. That's the most important thing about the SSG style roam, is allowing your players to rotate
5 seconds
if
left
you are
before
actually
insertion.
going for that strategy. Now, some teams, like we mentioned early on,
Attackers must
is you
locate and
basically just
defuse
put
the
all your
bomb.
utility upstairs and rotate away. The problem is when you don't bring a castle, you tend to scream that strategy, which is why you should always bring a castle, or at minimum 6 pick away, but I'd still rather show that castle.
Yeah, it looks to me here that the attackers did not fall for it. They are not going to attempt a rush as they spawn in locations that you would commonly associate with just a standard roam clear here. But in any case, whoa, actually, no, the defenders... Oh, I think they're doing almost like a hybrid. It looks like a combination of the two, where you have the Vigil sort of roaming on a hard roam, and then the Jaeger sort of supporting from main stairs as well. So this is interesting. I'm excited to see how this turns out. But in any case, we have Faded. Interesting choice here. Very good one, in my opinion. Bring in the Yana, because that sort of combines the best of two worlds. You have the gun, and in addition, you have the human drone ability that the Monty would bring to the table, and he's a very good Monty player as well. We saw that come out earlier. But I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. Oh, Mental with a very early kill onto that Vigil. I don't know if he sees the Jaeger. Jaeger's going to attempt a swing, and he's going to fall as well. That's a double kill so far for the Ash, and the Roamers are dead. Now a 5v3 situation for Wichita Wolves. Looking really solid. Good entry from him.
A strong opening kill is exactly what you need on round number 6, your final attacking side here in Clubhouse, assuming that you don't go into overtime. But Pulse, he's going to be sitting here on central stairs trying to provide as much information as possible. As Smoke, he's going to find himself in a very aggressive gunfight. He's going to go for the wide swing, attempting a toxic bave, but Jin is going to be put in his 6-foot grave. It's now a 5v2. There's hardly any hope left in this round for Premiers. They're going to have to rely on their gun skill to bring it out. Those Iona drones are going to keep flying into sight, showing that there is one player apiece, and it's just going to be the easy crossfire setup. Pulse has elected to keep using his cardiac sensor, confirming that there's a ton of players on that central stairs, but he's going to find one, attempting the second. He will confirm the second. Noose for the attack onto the board as well. It's now 2v1 with Noose. He is stuck over here on blue, but he doesn't know that the wide swing from Ash is coming. Mental, the man who is unstoppable, is going to put him in a down state.
That was a wild round. I didn't think Pulse could get off his scanner that fast. I thought Maverick would have had the free kill, but I guess they just weren't expecting somebody to be sitting behind that wall when they rushed in, so all of a sudden they're surprised with a UMP 45 to the face, and that took out a couple operators there, but it was not enough to secure a round for Premier. And as we head into the side swap, it's Wichita Wolves with a 5-1 advantage in the semifinals. Looking pretty solid so far. We see CCTV coming out for the site, and we do see the Castle on the board as well. Not something you see every day for a second floor hold, but I suppose it's an interesting one, potentially looking for a slight extension even. Wamai getting 6 picked off the Bandit, so Mute is going to be the only hard breach denial for this round. On the attacker side of things, we see the Thermite being brought as well, and the Maverick in addition to that, so it's going to be a very hard breach heavy attack here.
Utility Consumption Simulator 2.0. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be the Wamai Pancakes and those Jaeger ADSs. The dual Fecta, or dual roam, however you want to say it, of sadness and despair is going to be coming out, and hopefully the attackers find a way of shutting that down. And just looking at it, they really don't have a lot of throwable gadgets to break this down. You only have 6 flashbangs. And to really find an effective strategy here, you have to be running 9 solid flashbangs, as well as those lifelines that Sear-X will be running on the Zophias. And we've seen a lot of Zophia players actually elect to use those lifelines as essential flashbangs to remove those Jaeger ADSs and well, my pancakes. So hopefully they do their due diligence on that clear. And here comes the new meta of Clubhouse, trying to barricade out wine, as I always call it, so that vertical destruction does not come in. But it's really not going to be that big of a factor when you're running that Twitch drone as well as a Maverick.
I sort of like this setup, honestly. I mean, you can combine it in a whole lot of different ways, but having the castle there, he really sort of eats up more utility as well, especially from the operators such as Ash and Zofia, which are almost integral in clearing out the Jaeger ADSs and the My discs in the late round. So if you can sort of bait out the explosive utility use like that, very strong. We see a couple operators as well up on the roof right now, not really too much action coming out there. And we see the Maverick starting to open up this wall as well, trying to take a page out of Devil's Book. Not a whole lot happening with that regard right now. A couple shots coming out underneath the wall, but nobody's going to be able to land a shot quite yet onto this Maverick player. He misses the wall a little bit, though, and the 81 bullets of Maestro are going to be coming out to a little bit of HP loss, but no net kill quite yet. Maverick is going to have to fall away without getting that wall, but in any case, we do have Thermite still on the board who could potentially get that wall for his team later in the round. But in any case, I think as a Maverick player, you really need to secure that wall early on, and that's just not what happened.
Unfortunate to Jello, his kneecaps are going to be filled with 5562 lead as Mitchell with the insane headshot is going to put Nomad in the grave. But the refrag by that F2 is going to be almost instantaneous. It's going to be Tyrant down in this round. And it looks like Mayo, he is very close to a roam with Mental here on this west side. So they're going to be trying to play off each other's refrags. So it's going to be Jin taking up the lineup as Mental's going to find a kill of his. Oh, he's going to be attempting the third. With Solar missing his shot, the wide swing comes out, and it's going to be Jin punished by his own aggression. And here we go. It's a 4v2 with still plenty of time left in this round. We're going to see another attempt by Mental. He hears the player sitting on that north side, but unfortunately, it's going to be F2 finding a second kill in this round. And Twitch is going to rotate away, trying to mix up her positioning. We're also going to see her mate of Cyrix rotate over to support her as the 3-gun barrels of Wichita stall face towards the west side, waiting for this inevitable push in.
Now, if I was Wichita Wolves right here, they're already in a very strong position, but I would potentially swap the mute out for the castle downstairs to get that nitro cell below, because if it comes down to a plant situation, you definitely want the nitro cell to be able to deny that. Never mind, it's not going to matter as the last 2 kills are coming out. The Maestro and the mute getting their work done, supported by that nice 3K from Mental early in the round, is going to end it out. Their first defense is going to be 6-1 Wichita. What a strong match for them right out of the gate. It's going to be round number 8 with the potential to end it all and send it to Consulate for the potential to win the series.
And this is a one-sided series, to say the least. The only defender-sided site won by Premier was round number 2 on Basement, which has allowed Wichita Wolves to just keep snowballing win after win. And it's going to be on now the attacking lineup Premier to try to shut that down in some way. And it's going to come down to their overall roam clear. Allowing Mental to do what he does best, which is pure and utter punishment, is something that you cannot have. It's an utter liability at this point, and maybe you should try to be ringing out some operative design to counter roams. Jackal is a phenomenal operator, not only for an entry fragger, but his C7E is impeccable. Also, he does a wonderful job of shutting down the aggressive roam plays that players like Mental are so well known for. So hopefully they mix things up, but this could be potentially their last opportunity, so they're going to have to show up big if they want to be successful.
Yeah, very good points to make there as well, especially when you assume as an attacking team that they might take Basement, which is I think what Premier did. They took the Hibana and the Thermite as opposed to the Maverick, which is typically what you see when you're attacking against a gym. But in any case, here we are. It's I think they might have thrown him off a little bit. Wichita was just ready to call it off site, and it really worked for him. So we'll see if that's going to be the case later on in the round. As you know, Hibana and Thermite is still a standard to take on any site in particular on this map, but Maverick is just a little bit easier, especially when you have mute on the board.
And here it comes down. We're going to hop over to the tertiary bomb site, a setup basically designed to burn as much utility. But the thing it doesn't actually look like there's a lot of hard breach and hard walls on this east side by Cash. and instead they're just putting manpower here. And this is why castle is so darn important, because if you put a castle barricade on that window, it will allow your players to rotate for free, and you won't have a player like Nomad just sitting out on that long angle, preventing everybody from rotating in. It's going to be a very curious setup with a double mirror, providing a plethora of information, trying to stop the attacking lineup from entering near Jacuzzi. And also, if that mirror window does get open, at least the outmost one, well, they could fear a nitro cell from any possible angle.
Yeah, the nitro cells are just so strong on these two top floor sites, particularly because basically all the floor inside of both sites is destructible. With the notable exception being the safe corner inside of master bedroom. You can plant on there without getting killed by the nitro cell, but in any case, oh, we have a player down, I think through what we commonly call 51 window out there. That might have been the Zofia, but I don't know if she understands that she has a player down, and I believe he is going to be able to get rezzed by his teammate. So back to a 5v5 situation right now. Attackers have gotten the wall open with a thermite charge, so they have a lot of visibility onto both the main hallway, main stairs, and even the rotations out of bathroom and gym. So a lot of posturing right now from both teams, but really not a whole lot of action with the exception of that down earlier, and they're not really attempting to push that cash room. I think that's honestly a smart play by the attack, because you'd almost be falling into Wichita Wolves' strategy if you push that, but not a whole lot happening right now, I'm not gonna lie.
Well, it's going to be the attackers continue to open up more of these walls. They have claimed Jacuzzi to be their own, but they're going to have to start to move through this mirror window, which can be providing as much information as possible. Yoon has rotated himself down to ability to do a nitro cell denial, but Twitch seems to be very much aware of this. He's trying to get aggressive and punish our dearly beloved Faded, who seems to also know it's now a double push. The Sharks have entered in the water. His time might be numbered, but there goes the headshot. That's going to be Nomad off the board, which is going to try to get aggressive. But here's the whole strategy. He's wasting a ton of time. Jello needs to be upstairs in the actual execute, and Faded knows this too well. But it's going to be two big kills coming out by the attackers, who currently finds themselves very much in control this round. And here comes the plant. Where is the denial? Where's the nitro cell? There it is. It's going to claim the planter, and the bomb has been surrendered. But it's 0-0 on the clock, so they're going to have to keep shutting it down. There's only one of the defenders left. He's going to have the pings. He's going to spot it, but it's going to be too late. There comes the shot and the miss. A perfect headshot coming out by Noost.
Oh my lord, this is when I kind of wish we had like a an extreme clock, how they have in like hockey, where you can count down the milliseconds when they get a goal, because that plant went down right on zeros. It was literally on zero, and Habana managed to get it down. So it's an impressive job there from Premier, but it was so close to being a Wolves win, and I think Mental's a little bit confused with what just happened there as well. He throws the ... into the chat. And I don't blame him. That was a weird round. I mean, it came down to the last second, and things just sort of fell in Premier's favor.
Wow, that was definitely a nail biter to the bitter end, and a brilliant round coming out by Premier. They understood how to execute in the dying seconds of the round. Faded played his role properly. He utilized his nitro cell exactly the way the strategy lined up. But I guess that's kind of where things also fell apart too, because the defense allowed too much mobility, too much control to be relinquished early on by the attackers, and they did what they wanted to the unfortunate members of Wichita Wolves. But they still reside on match point, and it's still going to be a huge feat if Premier starts to win back the next 4 rounds to bring us into overtime. So that's the thing that Premier is good at. They are a strong roster, and a roster that you could never cut out until they are officially out. And I actually am a fan of Jello constantly bringing this Twitch. It is a good way of breaking down the setup that it seems Wichita Wolves actually want to run.
Yeah, especially when you don't bring a bandit, which is easy to sort of pick up and trick with when you have a Twitch. You can hear the drone coming a little bit. Mute is a little bit more difficult to do that, because you can either put it to defend the drone hole, or you can put it to defend the wall. There's no real in-between, especially when you have to put mute jammers all the way across the rest of your bomb site. So in any case, oh, whoa, what an early kill there from Devil.
Attackers dropped the diffuser.
I don't quite know where he got that kill from, but that's going to be Nomad already off the board for Premier, and a huge man advantage on this site.
Well, that's going to be your frag grenades taken away, and something that you cannot really rely on. But I guess since you're not running a lot of destruction other than those Maestro bubbles, I guess it's not going to be that big of a deal, as it's going to be some banter back in chat between these teams, and it's just all fun and games for the members of these prospects.
Honestly, at the end of the day, even though this is seriously competitive matches, it's still a game. You got to have some fun with it. If you're not having fun with it, then what are you doing? Because like you got to enjoy what you're doing, and I know that both of these teams definitely do enjoy what they're doing. And Wichita is definitely like I know them personally, so I can speak a little bit more to Wichita, whereas you seem to know Premier quite well. But in any case, Wichita I know is trying to become really a solid team and looking to go far. So they're both having a great time while doing it, as we can tell by some of their Twitters and things like that. But they're really serious when they're in the game, and you love to see that. So.
Well, the 90-second warning has transpired, and one attacker has been surrendered and put in his grave. And the drones are going to start to flood out through, confirming the positions of the defense and all providing as much utility and information as possible for the attackers for their inevitable execute. But they're going to have to stop droning very soon and actually begin their actual take upon the bomb site. You have far too many members of Premier on the outside of the map, and it's going to be a very difficult hurdle, especially since your last round win, well, that was just a pure and utter rush, which is something that you cannot rely on, especially a 0-0 plant like that. So they're going to have to do something drastic. They're going to have to do it now. That's exactly what they needed, the down on Mayo, but it most likely won't be confirmed as shots continue to go out, and we're going to have to see more aggressive fights, but it's going to be a back and forth between these teams. That's going to be double funding one, Tyrant flying another kill. It's just a 1v4 now at this point. Noose was so strong last round. Will he be able to bring it back for his team? He's twisting in the wind. All the gun barrels are trained on him. There's almost no hope left in this round, and it will be seized right away as Faded lands the SMG-11 headshot.
He gets it done. What a nice job by Faded there. Wichita with the W on map number 1. I just really thought that Wichita was, like you mentioned earlier, controlling the tempo of the game really well. Let's take a quick look at the scoreboard. Mental dropping a 16-kill game in only 9 rounds. What a man. But in any case, beautiful job so far to both teams. I'm going to cut to our waiting screen here, but we can keep talking for just a second because I doubt it's going to be that long of a wait. Honestly, I think these teams are going to be ready and rearing to go, so we might just be here for a couple minutes. But first game highlights, Chief. What are you thinking? What's been your highlight so far?
Honestly, I think the highlight for me was round number 8, and that was the round that we actually saw Premier win. And it was such a good round by both of these teams. Faded early Nitrocell going out, shutting down that plant, and then the player, I believe it was Twitch, I think it was actually Jello, coming in the last second, grabbing that bomb, and just planting wherever he could and winning that round. Oh my lord, that was an utter nail biter that showed how well these teams are pairing up and shows you really what Premier is capable of doing. And through the other rounds, Premier has just looked a little bit lethargic. They've seen a little lost. Their communication hasn't been what I would like. And I don't want to be too critical of them because we obviously have seen that they are capable of greatness. They just have to put their minds to achieving their greatness.
I can 100% agree with you, Chief. I mean, both teams showing their fragging capabilities as well. Just came down to Wichita Wolves was ready to go, I think, and they showed that very much. So I'm going to ask and see if both teams need a break here, and I know for sure that Casters, I would definitely like a quick break, so I'm going to go ahead and mute us real fast, and we'll get back with you all in just a moment. Oh, wait, hold on. Never mind. It looks like the teams are ready to go. Chief, are you ready to go, my friend?
I'm sure we can dive into this. I would like to take like a 30-second break.
Yeah,
Just get more water.
We'll take
I'm
a quick.
screamer.
We'll take a quick
I scream
2-minute
the whole
break.
time. My shoutcasting is all screaming. 30 seconds. I'll be back. A bio break, we'll call it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we'll do a 2-minute little bio break real quick then. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Quick little break there for the caster's sake, because God knows we are using our voices a lot right now. But we are back and bringing you the second round of this best of 3 series here. It's going to be on Consulate with the Wichita Wolves on the attack and Premier on the defense for this one. It's going to be a very exciting match here. I just realized I'm still deafened in Discord and Chief can't hear me. Hello, Chief. I'm back.
I am back too, and here we go. It's going to be map number 2, starting off on Consulate, and once again, the bane of Rainbow Six Siege, Thatcher, our favorite SAS operator, will be no more. He has been yeeted into the rubbish bin for the rest of eternity, at least the rest of Consulate. We'll see who will be joining him, though. And once
Hello,
again,
Capital.
it is Capital, the man that shoots firebolts out of his crossbow, pushing people away.
Can we call Capital like that guy from the Fantastic Four? I forget his name, but isn't there a dude that shoots fire?
Yeah, the guy, yeah. He turns into basically a giant flaming comet of sadness.
Okay, yeah, that's right. I haven't watched that movie in so long, but I mean, we'll call Capital that. Oh, and we see Valkyrie ban again. Is this going to be the exact same ban line? Let's see.
I don't know if Cade is that strong on this map. I don't know if it's strong enough to justify a ban.
I don't know, man. On basement, he's pretty strong, not gonna lie, with the triple garage door there.
But vertical destruction is so, like, I feel like a competent team can get rid of Kaid so easily, almost not dictating a ban. I think that's more serious. Better ban bringing out Mira. Honestly,
fair.
Echo would have been a strong ban too, especially like Mira. If you placed her in security, there is no way you will ever push in through the garage breach if that Mira window is open. The only way you can do it is if you smoke it off. Like Cade, when you tend to see teams that are very competent on Consulate, they take vertical destruction and any type of utility that's anywhere close Oreo, you'll pretty much obliterate it altogether.
Very good points. Yeah, I didn't really take that into account in any case. I'm just used to being a Kaid player, and I like to think that I'm just insane. But in any case, no, my TCSG skills are... We'll see. But in any case, it's going to be a split-side defense for Team Premier here, and we see the Vigil getting 6 picked out for the Pulse. Love to see that.
Defenders,
Now,
protect your
Pulse
bombs
has
from
been
being
kind of a
defused by
staple
attackers.
operator on the side of Premier, not only bringing out information, but bringing out... Oh, hello! This is going to be the split site coming out.
Oh,
I didn't
yeah.
see that. I must have missed that. No wonder why Pulse is in play. Do you know what we refer to when you bring out 3 nitro cells? Nitro Cell Bonanza! And that's exactly what's going to be taking place here, Nitro Cell Bonanza. And if you push anywhere there's soft floor, well, you may face a plethora of explosive devices. Now, I'm going to be hypercritical of Premier's
10
setup
seconds
right
left.
now. They have yet to shoot out any nitrocell holes at all
5 seconds
on
remaining.
the A bomb site. Tellers must have
Attackers have
nitrocell
discovered the
holes
location
that
of a
you can
bomb.
throw
Attackers are
onto the
moving to defuse
default
the bomb.
plans of desk. If you do not do that, there is no way you can deny a plant unless the attacking team makes a mistake. And that's the liability. You have to rely on the attackers to make a mistake. And the way we've seen Wichita play, well, they seem to be very against making mistakes. They almost need to be allergic to it, but Pole's going to do what he provides best, providing information, saying that the attackers will be entering through the east side of the map.
Yeah, that was a close call there. I thought that potentially the Pulse was going to be able to get an early Nitro self-kill, and no, maybe he still will, but no, he misses her with the scanner. She's going to be able to get inside for free. So, uh-oh. They don't know. I don't think they have any idea that this Hibana is rushed into sight and is already planting.
Attackers activated.
My lord, Echo just getting on his camera there in time to get that done, but wow. Already the diffuser's planted and it gets down to a 45-second round timer. Tyrant getting a kill, and it's going to be a matter of just holding rotations right now. And they're going to be able to do it, I believe. Right now, Pulse is the only one left. He's back up into sight. He doesn't notice somebody came in through the rotation. He's not going to be able to land the shot, and he's going to die. What the heck just happened?
Hello? Excuse me, Pulse? What? What on earth? This was a blunder, to say the least. I have no idea how Pulse did not see anything that happened whatsoever, especially since Premier loves their Pulse play and will just chop that up to the blunder of the universe. So maybe we'll go
Oof.
back to a more sensible bomb site, but no, Split will be making a return for the second time in a row. And
Premier,
I'm going to be
no.
critical again. You must shoot holes in the floor of tellers to stop exactly what we just saw there. You cannot nitrocell from underneath. You have to nitrocell through a pre-made hole. And this is really telling me that Premier doesn't understand how to defend this site. I don't want to be too critical of them, but at the same time, if you're going to be using this site as your
Attackers
primary
need to
bomb site
locate and
and
defuse as
returning
many
to it
bombs as they
twice
can.
in a row, you have to be able to understand the inner workings of a site like this. This is a very difficult site to do right, but when you do it right, it's unstoppable.
Yeah, very true. I mean, now we see the castle coming out at least. That's something that we love to see because it gives you A, an extra shotgun. B, it gives you the potential to block off those common rush spots like that. I mean, they're going to use 2 castle barricades on the windows, which I'm not sure if that's where I would put them per se, because you can defend the windows easier than the doorways in certain
10
cases.
seconds remaining.
But in any case, it's their strategy. Let them do what they want to do. But the Wolves just
5
countered it
seconds
so
to
well
go.
last time. I don't know what they're going to do differently here to do that. And they're not really moving any
Attackers are
reinforcements
moving out
over to
locate a bomb
defend
and defuse it.
from what happened last time. And I think that they're just going to attempt pretty much the same thing here. I mean, all the attackers have spawned in on that same side. We have one player up above, and that's going to be, I believe, the Mute. And oh no, he's actually going to rotate away potentially. Oh no, there's
Nag,
Mozzie up there too. Okay.
this
Bomb
setup
located by
reminds me
attackers.
of what we saw in Latin America about 8 months ago. This seems like a very old strategy to me. This doesn't feel current to me, especially with the castle barricades, how they're being utilized. Mute is starting to do his due diligence, creating those holes, but to me a little bit too late. You definitely need more of them. This is how Split looked like when we first were introduced to it. An aggressive angle coming out by Cyrix, and that's going to work perfectly. That's going to be Tyrant off the board. That's the opening pick they needed. But the thing with that aggressive kill was, though, they have relinquished all of admin. It's going to be a slower execute coming out by Wichita. They're not going to rely on this early aggression. Cyrix, though, is very aware that those players sitting close to him. He's going to be attempting to get this aggressive angle and punish.
Yeah, this Jaeger was in just honestly the optimal position there. I mean, if you know that players are going to be pushing heavily from that east side towards Visa, it's in your best interest to make a move that way, and that's exactly what we just saw there. Do I hear a barbed wire breaking? I don't believe... Well, I don't know. I thought I heard a barbed wire, so I was very scared for Jaeger's life there, but that's not the case. It's going to be a duo hold currently upstairs. We got the Mozzie and the Jaeger defending against the 2 operators, Ash and Sledge. They do have top control right now. Pulse still below underneath Visa inside of servers, and Blue going to be countering any sort of Habana rush like last time, and already they're doing their job better than they did last round. They've held the attackers out by at least a minute and 45 seconds, which is a lot more time wasted than they had last round, where they got the plant off within, I believe, 30 seconds. So,
Well, it's still a bottom and mid floor hold, and the attackers currently only reside on the first floor, so they're gonna have, or pardon me, the top floor, so they're gonna have to get aggressive. They're gonna have to start to execute now. Nobit has found himself in a unique position to try to get aggressive, but here's a repeat, and they're going to blunder it once again. Here we go with the bomb play in the exact same position. It's a 4v2 now. More and more bodies continue to crumble on the side of Premiers, but it's going to be attempted retake from the top floor, immediately shut down. It's now a 1v3. Jin's going to have a big mountain to climb, but fortunately 2 of his opponents are very lit. Within his Fade is still on full HP. He's going to spot the head of one, but it's not going to be enough as it's a triple crossfire. All the tracers go in his direction, and Fade gets credited with the final execute and kill.
I think Habana is a ninja. Who was playing Habana? Okay, it was Devil. Devil, you're a ninja. Okay? That's 2 rounds in a row that they let you sneak into sight like that and plant. That is just insane to me. So his stat line's going to be huge after this game just for sheer value to team. But my lord, they're doing it really well. And thank you, Premier, for finally going to a different site. If it doesn't work out for you one time, just switch it up. And that's what they're going to try and do this time here. Very similar attacking lineup for Wichita Wolves. And the defensive lineup obviously changes drastically because now they're not having to defend that double floor site. And it's all going to be centered mainly on horizontal holds for the most part, with the exception of potential roamers of Jaeger and Smoke way up top.
Attackers
We'll see
need
if
to
that's going to be
locate
the
and
case or
defuse
not
as
right
many
now.
bombs
So,
as they
Nash,
can.
remember when
Yes.
I talked about those holes that you make in the floor?
Right.
Why do you make those holes? So you can throw your nitrocell into the position that Devil didn't plant once, but planted in twice. The fact that Premier allowed it to happen twice without adjusting is a complete and utter mistake. That is
Very
something
true.
you cannot rely on. Like I said, you have to make tellers look like Swiss cheese if you want to defend it. If you do not do that, Devil is going to plant in the same place every
10
time.
seconds
I don't
left.
want to be critical, but at the same time, that's just a mistake you cannot
5
rely
seconds
happening,
left.
especially when you're going to a bomb site twice in a row. And I don't, it's getting me all worked up because the inner
Attackers'
coach
objective is to
IPL
locate
is
a
about to
bomb
have an
and
aneurysm. And here comes the aggressive run out. It's not going to net anything other than Sirix, just a wasting a little time. A little premature. If you waited about 5 seconds, it could have worked out. I think this is showing the frustration out of Premier. But hopefully they're able to change up the round, change up their pace, because the first 2 rounds they were
Attackers
pretty
have
much
located a bomb.
non-existent. Now they did get some important kills early on, but the thing with Basement is the attackers are going to have to drone out the entire map, which is why this map is so difficult and has been banned by so many teams. Honestly, this map is just starting to turn into a giant kill box.
I kind of like this map, however. I
It's
I
my
enjoy
favorite
playing
map.
on it. Yeah, it's one of mine too. I would say I have to rank it maybe 3rd out of the competitive pool to play on. But in any case, you have to sort of realize on this site, if you can drone out and note these 2 hatches here on the center of your screen right now, bathroom and circle desk, if those 2 are reinforced, you can pretty much assure that it's not going to be a top floor hold, because you're going to need to have rotation potential back down. So if you see that those are reinforced, sure, still check for the roamers, because you don't want to get caught out by a Jaeger or something like that. But you can sort of make your push a little bit sooner onto first floor and a little bit sooner onto basement if you know that those aren't occupied.
Indeed, it is the case, but it looks like most of the defenders have found themselves currently in the basement, so it's going to be the attackers to start to open up the floors, and you can hear Buck doing what he does best, creating Swiss cheese and forcing the defense into positions they don't want to be. Now, I do always love a smoke player on pipes. It's such a difficult position to deal with. It's so hard to utilize vertical destruction to get rid of them. You have to line up your angle properly if you want to do so. And it's going to be Devil shutting down anybody rotating from the back of Van over into blue tarps, as well as Tyrant coming down yellow. He's going to spot that of 1 all the way in kitchen. And here comes another planted attempt, but it's going to be foiled by those toxic babes of Jin playing on the pipes. And this is why this position is so difficult to deal with. It's just a shield in your way, and all the toxic babes you could ever dream of. He's going to be preventing anybody from entering through that breach. And here we go. The dying seconds left of the round. We'll have to see how the attackers take it.
I really like the way that the Habana played that, because as you know, Kai can typically pocket 1 Electroclaw on this site. You only really need 1 to electrify all 3 walls of triple, unless you want to play it a little bit differently and sort of make yours indestructible in a way. But in any case, the way that Habana played it was that she was able to use a flashbang at the same moment that she started Habana charging. That way that the Kai couldn't see, couldn't hear, couldn't tell when to throw his extra charge. That was really good. Plant's coming down from Habana right now. Smoke, however, is going to be able to... Oh no, he's going to get a toxic babe off, but it's not going to be enough as a Plant Plant does come out. The Nomad as well gets a double. Ash is able to rush into sight and potentially get a nice kill there. Doc gets refragged by the Habana. Now it's a 1v4 situation for this Jaeger, and he's really in a bad spot, and he's going to get killed by Wichita. It's 3-0 for Wichita. What a quick take yet again in the last dying seconds of the round. It's almost like 20-second meta or 10-second meta brought back.
And that's exactly what Wichita Wolves needed, another really decisive round win. And it's just coming down to how passive Premier constantly is. They really are just allowing Wichita Wolves to set up and play the way they want to. And that's overall a liability. We talked about this in Clubhouse. It's the attacking team that sets the pace, is the attacking team that wins. A defensive team that sets a pace is a defensive team that wins. And if we want to return back to round number 8 on Clubhouse, the very good round that Premier had when they attacked onto Gem Bedroom, well, it was them. They set the pace in that round. But now it's just Wichita Wolves walking over the entire
Defenders,
field,
protect your bombs
doing
from
what
being
they
defused
want,
by
and
attackers.
manipulating Premier basically into these human pretzels with a gun.
Bomb located by attackers.
Chief, as always, my friend, you are the most on it person that I know in terms of like during the round analysis, because you notice these little minute details and things like that, and that's what I absolutely love about having you as a casting partner. But another thing that I've noticed is that Premier really isn't all that flexible. Like, no offense to them, they have their strategies, but they really only have like one strategy per site, and they maybe change one operator around to adapt. And that's just not enough, especially when you're facing a high-tier team like Wichita Wolves, who's honestly been steamrolling through a couple leagues and really winning big. You know, you have to be a little bit more flexible. You have to throw them off their game. You have to slow down their pace, and that's just not what's happening right now, because if you look, it's almost the exact same setup, only without, you know, with a couple different operator choices, and I just don't know if that's going to be enough to really counter that.
You're going to have to change up your pace completely if you want to counter it. And Alibi is always an operator that I have a love-hate relationship with. If you play Alibi properly and you set those Alibis up in common pre-fire spots, honestly, the best map for Alibi is Coastline. There's so many different strategies that you can utilize. You can essentially run a multi-shield strategy and put all those alibis behind the shields in very common pre-fire spots, and you as an attacker have to shoot them because it's a liability if you don't. And Mental is going absolutely mental. He's gonna find 2 big kills in this round. Your offsite roam pressure has been completely relinquished, and as we try to break down these rounds, well, Mental is just gonna stop me mid-sentence because he's just lighting everybody up. And now it's going to be the operator that I highlight so well stepping up, the MPX Storm, doing what it does best and riddling players with bullets.
My lord, what is happening with this round? Mental is just, like you were saying, he's just going crazy today. And maybe he's also called Mental because he's got these big brain pushes, you know. A lot of times you call, you can say that Ash players are really just, you know, run and gun. But I think Mental's analyzing it a little bit deeper than that. I mean, when you look at how well he's pushing and exactly the angles that he's taking and things like that, it's just so smart. And you love to see plays like that coming from, you know, with your 3-speed players as well. And with that being said, all of those operators that have died were the main roamers for Premier's setup right now, and is down yet again to the Smoke and this Maestro player in a 2v4 situation on site. I don't know if he's going to be able to get it done, and that's going to make it a lot harder there as well. And now Jin is it in a 1v4. He's got everything sort of against him right now. He's got 4 operators all pushing from different angles, and that's going to be it right there. Round number 4 goes to Wichita with a headshot from Faded. But my lord, they are just taking control of this game, and there's no remorse right now from Wichita.
Absolute punishment constantly being brought out by Wichita Wolves. But again, Premier is such a strong team, and they're definitely not currently playing to their utmost potential. We've seen a lot of diverse plays coming out from. We've seen them try to change up strategies, but right now, I think the mental fortitude game, I think they're just losing it right now. I think they're getting caught up in their own heads, and that's what happens when you have such a decisive 7-2 victory in your first game, and then here you are almost getting steamrolled, if I do dare so say that and use that terminology. And I think this is one of those times where you just need to take a big break, lower the pace of your round, talk to your teammates, adjust, and adapt. We've seen this before, and honestly, any team can come back from a deficit. If you don't believe me, just remember what happened to SSG in their last SI appearance. They were down 3 maps, and they had the most brilliant comeback on, it was Clubhouse. And that just shows up, you should never give up, even when you're getting creamed, because they were getting utterly slammed. They brought it back. So there's still plenty of hope for Premier. They just have to coordinate amongst themselves. They have to do their best Troy Canadian impression and bring these rounds back. Because if they don't, we might find a very quick best of 2 almost, instead of a best of 3.
Right, and maybe Wichita Wolves is just so used to playing best of 2s in SCS now that they know how to win 2 maps in a row, and they're able to take it, but who knows. This is UPL, however, and this is a best of 3, so if Premier is able to make this comeback and win this game, we will be going to Oregon. But right now, it's looking very solidly in the favor of Wichita Wolves. Tyrant already making a very quick entry into admin office. He's going to be pushing his way into the long desk hallway. He spots the head of smoke, but just not enough time there to land a shot, even with the quickest reaction times in the world. Jaeger getting into an early engagement with the Buck, and he's going to be taken out by the Buck player. That's a roamer down. Tyrant as well coming in clutch here. I believe the Buck distracted them just enough to be able to get things done there, but Mute going to be taken out, getting refragged, however, by the Ash. Now it's going to be another 2v4 situation for this defense right now. Doc contesting the Buck player, lighting him up actually to almost 5 HP, I do believe. Maestro, however, what is Maestro doing? He's a roamer now, a 1-speed roamer, you guys, and he's got 80 bullets ready to dominate and make that 79, taking out a drone right now. He sees the Ash, who is down. Now it's a 1v2 situation. How quickly things can turn around. But Faded looking very strong this game. He's 5-0. He knows where the operators are, but he's getting cammed out right now. He's getting spotted a little bit, making sound cues for himself with the barbed wire. So odds are against him, but I hope to see a really interesting clutch here for Wichita.
The human attack helicopter pushes up through the top of site, taking control of Projector. Honestly, we're going to call him the human AA-12 or the human A-10 Warthog, because that's what he does best, going burr and claiming out bodies, but he's going to be retreating back down to the first floor to try to punish Faded. And now bomb has been confirmed and denied in antechamber, but Faded's going to have a perfect headshot on Nomad, and here comes down. Well, it's going to have to be that A-10 Warthog going burr if they want to be successful in this round. Faded knows this all too well, and he's going to find himself in a post-plant situation momentarily. He's going to be posting and planting here on tables and news. He's going to start to slowly move up through Zulu, and here comes a post-plant. Faded hears the audio cues, and it's going to come down to the gunfight for the AA-12, and A-10 Warthog wins it out. The first round win for Premier. I don't know why I keep calling it AA-12. There's a gun in game called that. But the Alda of Sadness, Despair, and 556 led.
Defender mission successful.
I was about to say, I don't know if you're complimenting him or insulting him there, as the AA-12 is pretty much regarded as one of the worst guns in the game right now, but that's not the case. He did secure quite a few kills in that round for his team, but Maestro was able to get it done and get the round. So is this the turnaround here for Premier, or is Wichita Wolves going to be able to come back from that? I think that they needed a somewhat of like a reality check almost for Premier and be like, hey guys, like, we're just getting pushed so quickly, like, here's what we need to be doing. And I think that round might give them a little bit of a reset, but we know Wichita Wolves is just such a strong team, and they can really come together and win from a lot of different situations. They, even if we look back to SCS Season 2, they went to full overtime against another team and were actually down 5-1, and they were able to come back and win 8-7 in overtime. So, you know, Wichita Wolves has been proven to... we're back to split site. I did not notice that until now. We're back to split site yet again, folks. But in any case, Wichita Wolves can come back and win from any situation. Premier, I believe, has the opportunity as well. I haven't seen them play very much in the past, but I think that they have the opportunity now. They cut the momentum. So it's going to be an exciting couple rounds coming up here in the last defensive round here for Premier.
I just read what Nightbot said. It says Mayo stinks, but we love him, so please don't make fun of him for not taking showers. And that's probably one of the best things I've ever seen in Twitch chat. I'm not a caster that can read Twitch chat. I usually just have it running because I like to make sure the stream is running perfectly. But that single-handedly is the best thing I've ever seen from Nightbot. So GG everybody on Wichita Wolves. At least when it comes to your memeing and your social media market, they deserve a promotion for that. But let's dive back into the split bomb site here at round number 6. It's going to be the third attempt, and maybe that's exactly what you need. Third time is the charm, and it's going to be a slightly different setup. You're not relying so much on nitro cells, which really weren't being utilized. It's going to be another top-down clear coming out by Wichita, and it's going to be our Nomad. No, it's actually Serix on this position. He's going to be the front line man. He's going to try to get aggressive and waste time, but he's been droned out, so here he goes, retreating back over to mini desk.
And look, I was watching that Zofia there for the whole time. She's being so cautious because last time she got domed by the very same Jaeger from that position on spiral stairs. So it's kind of interesting to see how players react to different situations in different rounds. Right now, nades coming out here from the sledge is actually going to be, or not the sledge, Oh, the Sledge is on the board too. I'm getting confused. But in any case, Nade's coming out, breaking castle barricades, just perfectly timed there. We see Ash as well getting a kill as I try and work out my controls. There we go. We're back at it. Taking out the Jaeger, there's going to be one powerful roamer off the board. Sledge as well now up top. He's going to be helping out this Ash player. The hatch is open though, so they've got to be careful for the vertical play. Ooh, Jello on the castle getting a kill. He's actually made his way back up into sight, and a nitro cell coming out from the pulse. Not going to net any HP damage, however. Yet another nitro cell. I believe that from the mute is going to try and make some work, but nothing coming out of that one as well. Zofia lights up the mute player, and really the defense is feeling the pain right now, but never mind actually, as the Vigil comes almost out of nowhere and gets a nice little frag there. He's going to be rotating back down. Double kill coming out from Mental now. A diffuser is onto the site, and it's a 2v3 situation in favor of Wichita Wolves. Plant potentially going down on top of the printer. Are they going to be able to stick this? Yes, they are. Interesting positioning. Pulse is going to be able to swing into sight. I don't think he spots the Ash, though. No, he doesn't. So Mental secures this triple kill for the moment. Now it's a 1v2 situation. Vigil versus Sledge and Ash. Ash, I believe, is going to be able to stick the plant right now. Vigil's too preoccupied with his opponent up on the top floor, and the swing is just not going to work for him. It's going to be 5-1 score for Wichita Wolves at this half, and I believe that's exactly the score that we had last time on Clubhouse earlier today.
Well, the Nomad on Nomad violence takes place in the dying seconds of the round, but unfortunately the defense was unable to confirm that round win. And as you mentioned, it's going to be a 5-1 split in favor of what was then the attackers, now the defenders of Wichita Wolves. And this is one of those maps we can tend to see a 3-3 split. And that's a big deal because that means Premier has plenty of life left in them. They have plenty of comeback material. They're just going to have to work together, coordinate, and eventually execute. They're also going to have to burn a lot of utility that the defensive lineup of Wichita Wolves is currently bringing. Goyo is the type of operator that shuts down a total lane and avenue if you don't burn that utility properly. So it's going to be on how well Premier is coordinating with one another. But it looks like Premier thinks Wichita Wolves is going upstairs, and you can tell that by the Thermite 6 pick. And we tend to see those X-Cairo pellets that Jin is currently bringing really successful on the upstairs site. But when you come downstairs, Thermite is just a little bit more advantageous. So hopefully they're still able to work that way out. Now, where is Goyo going to like to place his 2 deployable shields? Will he put them in big bathroom, or will they be going downstairs by white van and between Oreo?
I think Goyo might be an anchor in this situation because we see the hatches happen open that we were talking about earlier, so there's a lot of rotation potential, so there are going to have to be a couple anchors on site, and I think Goyo is just the operator for that combined with the Maestro. And I believe that you were correct there, Chief. He's going to be putting both of his deployables down in the garage, but that's just such a strong position to have because you can really deny plants with those, you know, and even if you're not denying a plant, it forces the attackers to use some sort of utility as well. We see Mute playing first floor bathroom and then 2 operators playing up on the top floor, which is a very common strategy that you see on this basement side. Is actually Jello goes down very quickly, but so does Tyrant actually as well, and a team kill. What is going on down here? I missed it. I didn't expect a yellow rush that quickly, and wow, it's now effectively a 1v4.
What a round, what a second. Oh my lord, so many players have been surrendered and their bodies have been put 6-foot graves. Going to be Styrix trying to bring his team back. He's going to have a perfect headshot on Mental. That's the first start you need. It's effectively a 2v1. His fate is off the board. The dots are in chat, and we're just going to be delaying time, and it's going to be Styrix continuously retreating. He has a big hill to climb if he wants to be successful. 100 seconds left in this round, and definitely no hope, but he's going to try his best. I guess there's still always hope when you have Styrix, one of your top fraggers, who's been just a little quiet throughout this series. We've seen utter confidence coming out of this particular player, but he's just not having the best series, which is something you cannot rely on, especially when you're in semifinals. And there goes a Nitro Cell. It's sent and ripped, but nobody on the receiving end. Good audio cues coming out by Faded, who was rezzed not too long ago. Pre-fire is going back, but again, we know there's nobody sitting on the basement and the bathroom.
Important to note as well that Mayo has the control of the diffuser right now, so this Buck is basically forced into a position where he has to make a push. He has to get a kill. And I don't know if he's going to be able to get that done right now because there are superior angles being held, and he's at the disadvantage having to claim that diffuser. As we see Maestro potentially with a swing, but no, he's going to elect to fall back. Very smart play. You don't want to put your team any closer to a round loss here, and I think they're just going to end up playing time at this point because there's nothing really better to do. I think in this position, if you try and throw bodies at him, that might be the end of it. But oh no, the Mozzie! Unfortunate there. The hatch just blocks it for him, and now it's down to Buck versus 2. But Buck is at very low HP. So can he get this done?
Well, he has a still hill to climb, but 2 lit opponents is definitely going to be doable, especially after that most recent kill. But these soft barricades are going to hinder him greatly, as every time he shoots them, it's going to give away his position. It's going to be a security hall push, but it's going to be no avail, as it's going to be the Alda spinning its lead, and the preset holes by the defense working out perfectly, and quite an angle at that. And the rush, while it was a valiant attempt, was not the play, because the defense was very prepared for that. And that's the thing. A yellow rush is kind of common. A lot of teams are still prepared for it, or at least you have so many bodies near that vicinity as you're just going to crash onto site. I'm honestly a bigger fan of an archives rush because most players tend to put their ideas, their thoughts towards that triple wall and towards white, van, and yellow, but nobody's really looking towards their backs.
Yeah, very good point, Chief, because, yeah, typically you see teams really work from the top down in an attempt to open up the triple wall and clear off the utility from that side. So, yeah, a valid point would be to attempt to push blue. But I don't think we've seen either team really do that quite yet. It's just worked out where either the rounds have been over by the time, you know, or excuse me, where the rounds had been over due to other types of pushes that we might have seen, or just, you know, rounds taking longer from opposite sides. So, yeah, I don't know why teams haven't utilized that a little bit more. I mean, you don't even see it hardly that much in a lot of competitive play. I don't quite know why. It's very strong, especially if a team is like right off the bat attacking first.
Now, Sako, I'd love to get your opinion. What do you think about this top site? I used to love it. It used to be the primary site, but for me, it's starting to fall away. I don't think it's as viable as it once used to be, but I'd love to get your opinion.
I don't know. I mean, I think if you devise a good enough strategy for it, it's viable. I think taking the Wamai and Jaeger is a necessity on this site now, just because of the amount of like throwables and things like that that the attackers usually bring. But at the same time, you can really get pushed from 3 or 4 different ways. This is almost a site that's reminiscent of the Penthouse site on Coastline, because when you look at Penthouse on Coastline, you have the hatch and you have the 90 to theater push, and then you have the VIP push. Whereas like on this site here on Consulate, you have Visa Stairs, you have Admin, you have Spiral, you have Yellow, and then you have all the windows that you really have to sort of watch out for. I mean, there's no telling where the attack can come from. But if you set yourself up well enough, you can reposition the shields in enough time to be able to accommodate that. And I think that's what we're seeing right now. Wamai actually picked up his deployable shield. So I think it's viable depending on how you play it. It's more dependent on the teams.
That is a good point, my friend. And also, the problem I have with this site is there's too many darn windows and too many places for the attackers to basically isolate you. And that's the problem. Whether or not you're pushing from the east through admin or through those west windows and up through yellow, you can essentially cut the site in half and allow you to plant at least a little easy. And that's one of the big things that a successful team that attacks on this map is a team that understands how to cut a site in half. And this is why it's personally my favorite map. And I'm so good at orchestrating these crossfires and these angles. Like, I feel like I've been playing this map for so long, it's just become like my baby. And it's truly my favorite map. And if it was removed from like Pro League play, just like Bank was, it would break my heart. And it's gonna be the wide swing coming up by Mental, but his heart will be broken as well, as that Syrix tacking that back instantaneously. And it's going to be a good trade. You essentially put a Jaeger or an IQ, and that's something you want to do. And here comes the cutting sights in half. The strategy behind it is exactly this. You have control of projector, and the plant is going to be a little easy as they're going to come in through long.
Yeah, this is a position good for the attackers right now. While the defenders still have some superior cross angles, they're all isolated sort of to one side of the map. So you really have the freedom to do as you will. And, looks like Twitch is going to be trying to get a crossfire going right here. So this is going to be an interesting angle to hold right here. I'm excited to see what they're going to be able to do with it. But as we know, the defense starting to use their utility. It's down to 30 seconds. Smoke is going to be able to get things done here. Well, Mai tries a jump out, manages to evade the Twitch at that exact moment, which is good for him. Bad for the attackers, however. It looks like the planter is going to sneak into sight, go to that very common corner plant. And, oh, wow, Nomad getting a kill as well. Smoke going to be throwing his last charge onto the double windows, not going to net anything. Nomad with a double kill. Plant does go down. Now it's a 2v4 for Wichita Wolves, and Ash is actually down, so now it's effectively a 2v2 situation. The Zofia is able to get rid of the smoke, and now it's going to be a Wamai versus the world here. Is he going to be able to get it done? It's a very easy post-plant situation for Premier. Honestly, just stay alive. And oh no, that's not going to be the case for the Zofia. So now it's a Twitch versus Faded. 1v1, and he's going to get it! And that's going to be a triple kill for the victory in the semifinals. And wow, Faded, oh my lord, what a retake. What a clutch for you, good sir. Honestly, get this man, if he's of age, get this man a beer. He just won his team that last round and prevented them having to play another one. So very, very good job to him. GG's to both teams. We'll be seeing Wichita in the finals coming up here.
The 2v1 clutch to bring this series to a close. GG's still rolling out through chat, and that's exactly what Wichita Wolves needed. They needed a big showing, and they delivered their fans exactly what they wanted. A 7-1 here and a 7-2 in the previous round, all on the backs of their wonderful coordination and their wonderful gun skill. And that's what we love from Wichita Wolves. Honestly, the highlight for me was probably the back-to-back devil plants that we saw in round number 1 and round number 2. I am perplexed, Sako, that it was allowed to happen not once, but twice. That is mind-blowing to me. Like, I think my 3 brain cells may have had an aneurysm over.
Honestly, yeah, that was interesting choice there for them. But in any case, I mean, Wichita, I'm sure, was very, very happy to have that happen for them, because that really helped them out quite a bit in their victory. Not to say that they wouldn't have potentially won otherwise just because of their quality of their play, but I mean, when you're able to sort of adapt quickly to the sites that the defensive team is taking like they did, oh my lord, it just worked out so well for them. So in any case, congratulations to the Wolves. Premier, GG's to you, and we might see you next season potentially for UPL. I don't know how UPL does their leagues, but I know for sure Wichita, we're going to see you in the finals. It's going to be a fun match to play. So Chief, thank you so much for being here with me. I believe that the Wichita owners are going to do a fun little raid here coming up after the conclusion of the match on our delay. So it's been an honor, my friend. I'm going to kick us over to our end GIF here so that they can get on with that process. Any closing remarks before I do that?
Well, I just want to say it's been a pleasure to cast with you today, like it always, and a big shout out to Wichita Wolves for allowing me to be here and also casting out their game. I love casting. I love Rainbow Six Siege, so it's been an honor to be here with you today. And if you like me, I will be more than happy to rejoin you in the future. My name is Chief Orgorthing, and my glorious and beautiful co-caster, well, his name is Nash or Sako.
Well, thanks again, Chief. I appreciate the kind words there, my friend. But GG's Wichita Wolves, and hopefully we will see you back here in just a couple weeks for those finals.
Stay safe, stay well.